They did everything else for free, and they don't normally do that, but they're really amazing, so they were worth it. But everything else, yeah, I mean, we did manage to get some sponsors on board, but it was like pulling teeth. I had to go in and talk to Michael Portantino at the GNL Times and convince him that that you should give us a discounted advertisement in the paper. I mean, I met with him for like 20 minutes just to convince the guy to do it. I mean, that was the kind of teeth pulling that we had to do at that point. It paid off because now it's easier and easier. They give more publicity to, you know, the dyke marches that are happening now. But it really is amazing. And another trick too with the media is knowing somebody. I mean, I almost got Channel 8 there the first year because I was dating one of the graphic designers. But even she could not get them to come in, and she was good friends with the producers, and they were like, well, we don't have a problem with it, but we're just afraid of what the big guy that pays our you know, signs our checks is gonna say. But if you do know somebody, you are more likely to get it in there, because it has to come through the back door sometimes.
You can do activism on a shoestring. I mean, lesbians are notorious for being able to create something out of nothing.
Yeah, you don't have to have money.
Even now you can do it. I mean, I talk about stuff. You got the Big Balboa Park. You always got CAC, Civic Center or CAC, which is the County Administration Building. Those are really good places to do stuff for. The feds, you know, right now it's a little scary.
Yeah.
Feds guarantee you're gonna get arrested. That's really true. You know, doing stuff with the feds. But you know, doing the stuff at, you know, we have some really good places just to go and do protests.
One year we had the festival, the Gay Pride Festival, in the parking lot of the County Administration Building. That was one of my favoriteest, because we had the breeze off the ocean going on. It was one of my favoriteest festivals, I think.
But that asphalt, that tar was hot.
Yeah.
Well, it was cooler than
I was holding my breath.
over there at the Veterans. I mean, you know.
The Navy Hospital.
The
Navy Hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, the Navy, that's where I'm
That was
thinking.
terrible.
I remember a festival that all they had was a keg at Fiesta Island. It was a keg and people were standing in line. It was a Fiesta Island and wind was blowing and people were just standing.
Must have been in the 70s.
Yeah, it was the 70s.
I remember a festival
78,
in the
79.
parking lot of the West Coast Production.
Oh,
Company.
yeah.
Yes, that's.
And they just put hay in the dirt lot, and
No,
they
we
had
sweat that
barbecue.
dirt, honey. We
Uh-huh.
sweat. Chris, that's what I was working at the
Yeah.
Gazette. Chris said, "You're gonna show up tomorrow and sweep," and I go, "Okay."
Yeah,
And
they had like 2
Because it
booths
stirred up so
and,
much dust.
and a barbecue, and that was it.
Yeah.
And it was the hardest thing in the world to keep those young folk out of West Coast
Right.
because you know, we kind of took over security for the bar, and it was our responsibility to make sure that the young folks stayed outside of the bar.
But that was also the year, tell the history of it, that was the year that somebody didn't bring forth the money, and
Tony Zampella, was that Tony
Yeah.
Zampella?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
West
Took off or
Coast
something.
said that, Tony was in the trailer there, cause that was my first time meeting him, but somebody ran off with the money, and West Coast said, okay, it was a last minute thing, they said you can
Oh,
have
and
it.
Have the West Coast,
Chris
yeah,
and Tony made it happen.
Right,
That's right.
that's
Yeah.
the last
But there was
minute
a few little booths
thing, 'cause
and
they
there
weren't
was,
gonna have it,
and there was some people performing, was
but
Christina
it was
Veronica.
so tight.
yeah.
Christina
I
Veronica
don't.
sang
It's like,
a cappella
making
with.
a
lot
lot
of
of local.
Okay, we just have to speak.
Yeah,
on
what
it.
do y'all want to know? We could
Okay,
sit
let
for
me give-
hours just
Wait,
talking.
Let me give a name.
Questions. We,
Oh,
A
wait,
question,
question.
I have a question.
Let her have a question.
Who does one contact to volunteer to help out in any way?
what do you want
Oh,
to
What do you want to do?
Anything.
Like when?
Come over and wash my dishes.
The first Dyke March meeting is happening. I have 3 announcements.
good information.
Okay,
I
because
have
it's,
one too.
it's
Yeah,
10
here we go.
quarter after I.
Okay, the first Dyke March meeting is happening May 5th, Wednesday, May 5th, at 7:30 p.m.
Cinco de Lesbo.
Cinco de Lesbo.
Cinco de Lesbo,
Because that's my coming out day.
Mazel tov.
My coming out day. It's Cinco de
Where
Lesbo.
would this be held?
Emily, where is the meeting happening?
Well, Sarah's in charge.
Yeah.
Oh, hi Sarah.
Hi.
Who
We're
are
doing- I'm Sarah.
Hi,
and
Sarah.
I'm going to be running Dyke March this year.
you?
this year we're gonna hold the meetings in the basement at the center.
Excellent.
Every Wednesday
Cause I
night.
heard it was also here, so that's why I didn't say where, so put the word out that it's happening at the
Yep.
center rather than
Every
here.
Wednesday night,
7 o'clock?
7:30?
7:30.
Y'all will be there? Y'all wanna put on a
Everyone's
Dyke
coming?
March?
Yeah, this
No
Wednesday?
way? Sarah, you got a
Anything
panel
that
here
horses
of women that,
Thank you so much.
we're here for you.
She's
Let me
got
just
my
add-
number.
Could I just add a couple names?
Yeah.
Since we're on tape? Because we didn't talk that much about Sally Garrett, who started,
Oh, yeah, way.
Shirt Tails.
Tails.
Because it got to the
yeah.
point that I think we were all over 30, and the Flame was playing this music that we said we couldn't dance by, and so she started
Because I was
in the
DJing.
church.
Dallas.
Or some of us wanted a clean and sober environment.
Right,
Yeah,
It is-
She
yeah.
started off as a little coffee house,
Yeah.
and, worked its way up.
And also,
It
everyone,
was weird.
every woman was welcome and her children were welcome.
Right.
Right.
So,
I took my granddaughter.
yeah,
Right.
so mothers who had children who couldn't get babysitters, who couldn't afford
Right.
babysitters, were welcome at Shirt Tails,
At the
Coffee
Moose
House.
Lodge. At the Moose Lodge.
Right,
and
and then one
it
at
was
the
in the
church.
church, in the basement
And
of the
then the
church.
church in the
That's-
basement.
That was the
Yeah.
coffee houses.
Right, that was the coffee house.
Yes,
Oh,
and
it's
Shirt
not
Tails performed.
Yes.
No,
Swedenborgian Church
helped a whole lot of lesbians
Yeah.
get together.
No, but it started
great.
on Washington Ave. Remember the one?
Yeah, that was the
Yes,
one where you had to pay to
Washington
get in.
Yeah,
Then it got bigger, and then it got
it was
bigger and bigger.
in that dance academy place that's no
Yes,
longer there on.
that's no longer
Washington,
Washington.
yeah.
Across from Kentucky Fried Chicken, that's no
Yeah.
longer there. Yeah, that's where it was. And then, just to mention another couple names, Wendy Castor,
Oh, yeah.
when they
Oh,
put
yeah.
out this
Oh,
poetry
yeah.
book, and Jane Brown.
Wendy Castor also wrote a book on lesbian sexuality. That's an excellent book.
It
Pick
just
it
got
up.
republished a while
Yeah.
ago and it's over at Obelisk.
What happened to her?
Well,
She went to
Jane,
New
she-
York.
Wendy
Yeah,
went-
she went back to New York.
Yeah, Wendy went across. Tony
Brown.
went across because he went back to school in New York, and then I think he's doing a big thing. I haven't talked to him in a long time. Jane Brown, I don't know where Jane Brown
She's in
is.
Pennsylvania.
She's in Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
And then Regina Meister.
Don't know.
Julia Dowdy is still here.
Yep.
Susan Hawthorne and Lynn Bush. I don't know where they are.
And-
But
And Phyllis Jackson was involved
Oh,
with
yeah.
Laga
Big-
yeah,
yeah.
Phyllis Jackson is still here.
Yeah.
She moved to the outskirts of town. She's living in the
And she has a fine house and a
Yes.
fine woman.
yes. So those are some of the names that I could remember.
And Marty?
Yeah, well, Marty is passed on. I had a videotape of those, but
I just remembered that we finally started a women's resource center at the Gay and Lesbian Center. So because so many people that we've spoken with who are young or of color or female felt as if they weren't being served there in any way. So the next volunteer meeting for the Women's Resource Center, if you would like to get involved with all the programs that are starting there, the next meeting for that is also Wednesday, May 5th. So before you go to Dyke March volunteer, just go upstairs to the Women's Resource Center first at
What
6
time's that?
o'clock.
Ah,
So then you'll have time between 7 and 7:30 to meet a new girlfriend or something, and then at 7:30 go downstairs and volunteer for Dyke March. So you can go to
grab a
both of
coffee
those.
from Goddess Capina.
Yes. Well, I don't know if we're doing
No, we're not
coffee
doing
for
coffee.
that. No.
No?
And on Thursdays, don't they have a lecture
And Thursday, the
series?
lecture series is continuing at
That
the Women's
sounds
Resource
good.
Center. The one yesterday was fabulous on the fat female body. It was fabulous.
Next week it's on women of color.
Yes.
Once a month, it's been happening at the Big Kitchen for a number of years now. Judy the Beauty on Duty, Judy Foreman calls it the Women's Monthlies. They've broken away from the Women's History Project. I'm not saying the right name, but it used to be a fundraiser for the Women's History Reclamation Project and Museum Educational. They've made the name real long, but
Actually, they've shortened it to Women's History Museum.
Judy's been putting on the Women's Monthlies at the Big Kitchen. Get there at 6 o'clock. If you're not there by 7:30, you don't get to eat. She puts out a wonderful meal, and it's lesbian feminists, because there are non-lesbian women that go. women come together and just talk about stuff. Sometimes we decide to talk on a topic, sometimes we don't. One night we were just very silly and sang show tunes. It's a really fun evening of just getting together with like-minded women. $15 kind of sliding scale for a meal. And you know Judy, all you can eat. Great food. She doesn't just do the lasagna or spaghetti night, but she's been doing some very creative meals as well. I want to see this continue to happen. That we have a very strong lesbian community, but we're in pockets of places, and we need to start coming together. Let's go to women's monthlies. Let's go to the Dyke March meeting. Let's go to the women's resource meetings that are happening. Let's make it happen. Trees.
And also Youth Pride is tomorrow, and there's a
Yes.
huge Christian un-gay friendly group that is very active, and they're putting out a red alert to all of their constituents to show up and protest tomorrow. So if you can please go, all ages.
Let's get organized, please.
All ages can go and march.
Where does it start, where does it end?
Hold on a second, the festival is just closed to anyone under, 24 and under, unless you're in the media, that kind of thing. But definitely at the march itself, everyone is welcome. And I think it'd be great to have a bunch of folks that couldn't even come into the rally, kind of protect the rally from the outside.
I'm there.
And
What time?
It's 11 o'clock at the Gay Youth Center, which is on 4th and Robinson. I don't have the exact address, but it'll be obvious. And then they're marching to the center?
Yes.
Okay, to the center, which is on Center Street
Along
and off of
University?
University. Yeah, yeah.
But you can
So-
go in Youth Pride if you go with the youth. Like if,
They're actually being really strict about it. If you're a parent, you can take your child, because they're trying to keep the chicken hawks from running.
Yeah.
Right.
And this Christian group has actually said, well, because you have people under the age of consent, 18, and 18 to 24, that those people they're classifying as chicken hawks, that they can prey upon and try to coerce young people into becoming gay. So it's really important to show up, because they didn't have any protesters last year.
I have a suggestion about how to help them. If you can get a piece of poster board, stand between the protesters and the youth.
Oh, and one other thing.
With something on it.
Like ignore these morons.
Like ignore
Yeah.
these morons, and be a wall of love.
Well, one thing that Ren Petty, who's the producer of it, is
Future
suggesting
former fighting fighters,
is that
rise again.
they're wanting people to bring mirrors, so that if there's any protest, that they can mirror that back to
Oh,
the
wow.
people.
Oh, that's genius.
Isn't that cool?
Oh, that's
Get long.
Are we allowed to
you know?
carry those though? If they take away a little stick for your protest line, are you allowed to carry a mirror?
Yeah, that's kind of dangerous.
It's not broken.
Okay.
You can also, you know, they had the youth thing was going on, that's where I was earlier.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
And, they had that going on, you can still go in early in the morning, go check in with the Pride folks, and they can set you up. They can set you up for doing different things if you wanna go and assist, because there's gonna be a lot of people from Pride helping out with that. So,
Cool.
if you wanna coordinate your efforts with that, that would be good.
One
And
of the things
Diane,
that
one
we
other
used to
thing,
do in
just
the-
for, one other thing from the past, I didn't hear anybody mention SDLO.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a timeline. We were so into talking, there's so much more that we need to talk about that we just don't have the time for. We need to do this again.
part two.
Yeah, part two, we have a timeline, maybe like just focus on one decade, like the 60s to the 70s or the 80s to the 90s. One of the things we used to do in the 80s when we would get hundreds of fundamentalist Christians protesting Pride, one of our slogans was, turn the other cheek. If you can't turn one cheek, turn both cheeks and just turn your back on the fundamentalists. There was a group started by Mary Lou Semblies, God, where'd that come from? Called the 4Fs, Future Former Fundy Fighters. And they would dress all in lavender at Gay Pride Parade, and they would stand in between our parade and the police department, so that when the parade went